I want to talk to you about the pilot in red that didn't used to have a name. This is only one Kenobi, by the way, only one. And it was, of course, the B-Wing pilot. I'll talk in my normal voice now. The B-Wing pilot that obviously came out in the Return of the Jedi days of 1983, circa that time. And then he got a name. He got the name of Keyan Farlander. And usually in my videos, as you know, on my channel, I'm speculating about the future of the vintage collection, what we might get next year. But today I just thought I'd stop everything and just have a little look at one character, only because I got a card back which I'm going to show you in a minute that sort of completes my collecting of this Keyan Farlander B-Wing pilot character, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is him loose. It's a great, just like all the vintage collection figures, between 2010 and 2012, fantastic sculpting, articulation, and as far as this guy's facial sculpt is concerned, well, we don't really know what he looks like except for one fuzzy image of who Keyan Farlander is. The briefing room, apparently that is Keyan Farlander up in the rafters at the back. If you go on Wikipedia, you'll see who I mean. But this is the figure I wanted to show you now. I got this a couple of weeks ago, and I was really pleased to do so. Only that I got him finally on a return card and unpunched, and also, well, I like it when they have the Boba Fett stickers on. It just sort of, I don't know why, adds a little bit of extra touch there, colour or something. So, yeah, the hunt for this, I got this for what I'd say is quite a decent price. It was £30 from Chew the Backy on eBay. I love that name. Anyway, the reason I am pleased to get this is because for a long time I had not seen a return card that wasn't a European trilingual front. So I thought that this was quite rare, and so for 30, it's not that bad considering prices on eBay are going a bit mental for all of the vintage collection. Let me show you all I have. Now this is the first Keyan Farlander I got. Well, actually, I tell you what, that's the first one I got, and I opened it, and then there you go. I couldn't remember what it was, Return or Revenge. But anyway, the majority of Keyan Farlanders come like this. I showed you the wrong one there. They come like this on a... I'm sorry, that's the one I've just shown you. Bear with me a minute. Most of the Keyan Farlanders available come like this. Now this is what you will see. If you search on eBay for Keyan Farlander, you will find a Revenge of the Jedi variant, and that's it. And that's pretty much all there is. For a long time I considered the Revenge standard to be the only type you could get. Have a look at his name. You can see all vintage collection figures get a title box or a name box. And you can see B-Wing pilot. Sometimes you'll get something in brackets. In this instance, you'll get Keyan Farlander, because in a sort of an expanded universe twist, Hasbro have given him a name, which is by the by. We'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. But there we go, and then that's about it. But the first card I kept, or Keyan Farlander I kept carded, was this one, which is a return card back with the trilingual nameplate on, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately this one is punched, but I got this for about £10, which is quite cheap really on eBay, including postage. So there you go, and that is all I've ever seen for a return variant. As far as I was concerned, all the Keyans were Revenge. So when I found this one on eBay, I was quite pleased to not only see an unpunched card, but the Return of the Jedi logo, not Revenge. And also the nameplate is back to normal, because I don't know about you, but I don't really like the multilingual nameplates. I don't really like them. I have a few in my collection which I have in a row down here, which I do promise to AMG Villain I will show you my wall, bro, at some point soon. That's how you laugh, man. I love your laugh, by the way. I've got a few cards down here. I've got a TIE Fighter, I've got Leia, I've got a Rebel Commando with the trilingual. I think is it a Canadian card? You get a bit of French, English and Spanish. Let me read it for you. B-Wing pilot, pilote de B-Wing, or piloto de B-Wing. That's what you get on the card there. So that's it really. So I was really pleased to get this one the other day, to finally sort of get my hands on what I wanted, which is, it's nice to have these Revenge variants, it's nice to have the multilingual variants, but that's just as far as I'm concerned, as a collector of Star Wars, that is just a clean 100% Return of the Jedi, and no messing around there, and unpunched. That's the best thing you can get. So let's talk about who is Keyan Farlander. Well, let's go back to the old days. He used to just be known as the B-Wing pilot, very generic, he was nobody. But then they decided to give him a name, and that name was Keyan Farlander. Now the reason I'm interested in this character is because like what they with the vintage collection, with the expanded universe, they've opened the door, what's behind sort of the scenes in a way. And I like the fact that this iconic card that I remember as a child now has a name. As I say, it's Keyan Farlander, and I don't know what counts as canon now or legends. Who is this guy? Apparently he is somebody who was a really good pilot around at the time of the Return of the Jedi. Again, you can see a picture of him in the briefing room if you look on Wikipedia. But then apparently he's force sensitive, but and he could have been, I don't know, brought into the Academy, the Jedi Academy in Legends. So that's quite an interesting sort of concept there. In terms of actually Keyan Farlander as a figure anyway, and I'm talking about the modern release of him in the vintage collection, and I'll show you this one again, that's the one I got recently. It was this figure that was one of the figures that I sort of first saw of the modern vintage collection line. So I'll never forget it. I was in my local Forbidden Planet, this is going back 6 years now, and I saw this swinging on the pegs and I thought, wow, what are these figures here? I thought, I recognise that packaging, and then I immediately identified with the red, jumpsuit, and obviously the iconic image on the back, and I thought, whoa, I know what they're, you just sort of like something pings in your head and you think, wow, I see what they're doing, they're bringing back something back, but inside is the figure is obviously vastly updated from the very sort of not cheaply sculpted, but the basic sculpt of the 1980s figures, but then you get something absolutely vastly superior inside. But that was it, and something sort of I realised, wow, the vintage collection, and then that's it, and the rest is history. You can see it all behind me here. But back then, I didn't fully realise that these were. I thought this was just an exclusive product for what do you call it now? Forbidden Planet, which is like a comic shop. Because if you go into anywhere like that, they seem to have quite rarities in there. They've got lots of figures that you wouldn't see, say, hanging up in the mainstream shops. So that's what I thought this was. But it turns out this is a mainstream product that for a period of time was on shop sort of pegs, if you know what I mean. But just like that, boom, they're gone now. But the good news is they are on their way back. They are making a return, excuse the pun there, as I'm holding Keyan from Return of the Jedi. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.